So, to clarify,
we're sisters.
we're not in a relationship and we're all straight.
I feel like people just say that to mess with us because we obviously look like sisters.
Yeah, facts.
Like, I've literally seen twins and triplets before. They're like, oh, you guys literally look more like twins than we do.
You're listening to Big Sis Energy.
Welcome back to Big Sis Energy. I'm your host, Makenzie.
And I'm your other... Oh my gosh.
We need a restart.
The fact that I've never done that either is crazy. It's because we have a guest.
It's because our little sister is making us nervous.
Okay, wait.
Okay.
Start it.
Welcome back to Big Sis Energy. I'm your host, Makenzie.
And I'm your other host, Malia. Today we have a special guest,
Little Sis KK.
Hey guys.
Welcome to the podcast. We are so excited to have you on.
Yes.
We're going to get into all the tea today. We asked our followers to ask you questions and
some assumptions.
let's get straight into it. Malia has a little question to start us off.
Yes. So first, let's introduce yourself.
Hi guys. I'm Makayla. I'm 15 and a half. Just got my permit. I'm turning 16 in December and I'm going into my sophomore year of high school. And I'm super excited to be here and could not thank my sisters enough for having me.
Oh, of course.
KK.
Definitely more to be continued because I'm excited. We're definitely gonna have more episodes with Makayla. So
for sure.
This podcast episode is definitely gonna be kind of school related. But I did have a question kind of like as an icebreaker. So since you have 1 year of high school under your belt, what's one thing you would change about last school year?
I think off the top of my head, the one thing that I would change from last year was my mindset going into school and my mindset about friends. I think I wish my mindset was less desperate. Like, I was definitely, especially for my 8th grade year, I didn't really have a lot of friends. I really wanted friends. I was just like seeking and searching for those like relationships. And I wish that I would have just taken a step back and been like, I want real friends. I don't just want acquaintances that like I call my friends, you know?
Yeah,
and I wish I had a more like a better mindset about that and wasn't so desperate for any type of friendship I could ever get.
Can we talk about the growth though?
I know.
The way she already like even
recognized that,
this,
yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's something that a lot of us have felt before and still feel, you know,
Yeah.
going into any new circumstance. Maybe it's
Right.
not high school, maybe it's not middle school, maybe it's not even college. It's, oh, I'm going to take a new dance class. I don't want to be alone. I don't want to
Right.
I don't want to be the only person without a dance partner.
Right.
You know, so it's like
It is hard
everyone
just
feels
like
that way.
being lonely too.
Yeah. Learning how to be independent and enjoying that is like one of the greatest lessons that I've ever learned. And I'm like very thankful that I learned this young because like going throughout life, you're not always going to have somebody. And I think the like stigma, like everything, you see this everywhere, like movies, like, oh, my best friend, like I love my friend group. It's like, that's not realistic, to be honest. Like, it's hard to find people that you truly enjoy being around
And can trust.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to just give your all, like, investing your time into people that you actually don't enjoy being around. Like,
Yeah.
coming home after hanging out with people and sitting in your bed, I didn't have any fun. Like, why am I hanging out with these people?
Yeah. And that's
Like,
such a
yeah,
good
yeah.
tip too. Like when you leave a situation or like a friendship and you feel negative, like you know it's not a good friendship,
Right.
you know?
It's like, why am
And
I
you never
investing?
you never want to feel that way leaving a friend.
Already spitting bars over here, Makayla. Okay, so we are going to dive right into these questions.
Yay.
So first things first is just kind of like general questions, but
Okay.
it kind of regards to our relationship and just you as an individual. So
I'm so excited.
first question is, do you feel as close to your sisters as they are to each other?
Oh.
That's kind of, ooh.
Oh, that's a deep one. Okay. I really need to think about that. Okay. I've never thought about that, actually. So, like, is that question, like, how close you two are?
Basically, like, do you feel like your relationship is as close to Malia and I's as Malia and I's relationship to each other?
Honestly, in a different sense, yes. Because obviously you guys you live together. Like, we
Right.
don't live together anymore. But it's not like I feel left out. Like, y'all are older than me in a different stage of life. And I think it's cool because I get to see what you guys are doing and kind of learn from it. But I honestly feel like we're all just, like, a bunch of best friends. Like, we don't really, even though we're, like, 5 years apart, 4 or 5 years apart, like, I still feel very connected and, like, loved by you guys. Not like you guys love each other more than you love me.
Or like we're leaving you out.
Yeah. I never feel that way.
Because people, a lot of the times I've seen a lot of comments who are like,
Yeah.
oh, does your sister feel left out when she sees videos of you guys without her? And I'm like, guys, this is, TikTok,
Is
as
your job.
crazy as it sounds, is our job is to make content.
Right.
And so Malia and I are always making content together. And when we can add KK in, we have a great time. But also we hang out without the cameras too.
Yeah.
I think it would almost be selfish for me to like say that I feel left out because y'all live together. Like, I see you guys a lot in a good amount of the time, but like to say that I feel left out wouldn't be fair because it's like I don't live with you and I don't see you every single day.
Right.
You know, and when we do hang out, like you said, we don't always film, but it's still fun. Like
Yeah.
it's always fun. Yeah.
Also, I feel like since we moved out, like our quality time has gone from here to like here.
I know.
Yeah.
Like I always have so much fun when we hang out.
It's like seeing my best friends. 'Cause
And
you-
like,
Literally.
I appreciate our time more because I don't have to wake up and like see your face. No, I'm just kidding.
that is very true, y'all.
Yeah.
But when you live with somebody, obviously you get more annoyed with them. But now it's
a lot
like,
different.
aw.
That's
Like,
very true.
yeah.
I really value the relationship that we have.
And like if we have something planned, like it's easier to get excited for it. Like you said, like you value it more because you don't have it as much.
Right.
Exactly.
So,
and
yeah.
that's honestly the same with mom and dad too.
I know.
Like when
Very
I see
true.
mom and dad, I'm like, hey guys.
I know.
And Maxie.
And Maxie,
Our
of
brother.
course. So the next question is, Brooke.
Oh no.
What is it? Oh no.
Okay. Who is the meanest sister and why is it Kenzie?
Dang.
How do they know? No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, they're spot on.
Oh, that's
Guys,
hard.
I'm not that mean, I promise.
Neither of you guys are like rude or mean, but like everyone has those days. Like even I very frequently have those days.
we know.
Oh, yes. I don't know. Like I wouldn't want to label either one of you as like the meanest because like neither of you guys are mean.
Do
I'm
it.
giving her like the most bombastic death stare. No, I'm
I
just
feel
kidding.
like I feel like that's hard. I don't know.
Well,
That
it's
was
okay.
I was gonna say too because I was like, I feel like we can all be mean to each other, but that's like a sibling bond type of thing. Because
Yeah.
we're not mean, obviously, like to other people,
Yeah.
you know. But like,
Yeah.
it's like as like a sibling bond, I feel like we can be kind of like rude to each other sometimes. But like, I feel like our relationship's pretty good.
Yeah,
Even rude is pushing it. I feel like it's more snarky.
it's just like jokes.
Yeah.
It's more
Yeah.
like
Passive aggressive jokes, yeah.
aggressive jokes that like we find hilarious, but other people would be like, "What the frick? Like, what are they?
Yeah,
why are they talking
That's
to
true
each other
because
like that?"
sometimes
so
people think we're
true.
being like really mean to each other, but then we're like, oh no, we're just kidding. Like that's just how we're like
that.
bonding
Yeah.
and stuff, and we're like, oh, I can see how we seem mean.
I remember when I first started dating John, he was like, "Are you guys okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, no, we're fine."
Because
No,
we
like,
talk to each other like we hate each other. Like we're like, oh, it's weird. I don't even know how to
No,
describe
I
it.
remember my boyfriend was saying that like he was like, why are you being so mean to Makayla? And I was like, no, that's just how we bond. I was like, she does the same thing to me, but we're just joking. Like
Yeah.
it's not that deep.
Yeah.
I feel like people could think I'm the meanest because I feel like I'm the most direct and blunt.
No, yeah, you
But
are.
You're just so assertive.
You're very yes. You very are. You're direct, but in a way that also like if you couldn't take critical feedback, that could hurt your feelings.
Yeah.
Like the way you do
Yes.
communicate.
And sometimes it can be annoying.
I mean, point blank.
Yeah.
But you know what, guys? I'm
Growth is
working on it.
growth, right?
Growth is growth at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Next
Next
question
question.
is. Oh, this is interesting. What are the worst parts of growing up?
Oh. From my perspective, I think the worst part, at least for me experiencing, and I'm still growing up, we all are in our own ways, but
Yeah.
like, I think for me was definitely just like learning how to accept change because change is like a big thing. Obviously, you're changing and like physically, mentally, like emotionally, you're changing in so many different ways, not even just with like hormones, but like situationally in life. There's some things that happen in your life that suck.
Yeah.
And like, you're just like, man, why is this happening? Like, I don't want this to happen. But like, it comes to a point where you kind of you have to accept it. But that's hard. Like, I think something that I hope I can take in my like years growing up is like being okay with things changing.
Yeah.
Because especially with you guys moving out, I mean, it was hard because like you guys are my best friends, and like going from like seeing you every day and not seeing you was really hard. I don't know, like because we're best friends, but
Yeah.
like, I'm trying to think of another example. But yeah, just like change in general because every year in your life is gonna look different, but you kind of have to learn to accept it and grow and change with it.
Yes.
Because if you take every little thing as kind of a stab in the back, then life is going to be really hard for you. So, like, accepting the change, embracing it, and also having fun with it, learning how to, like, love it and
Like
find
adapt to it.
find a way to like it because whether or not, like, I stand by this, there's going to be hardships in your life, and you just got to learn to direct around them, and because they're just going to come.
Yeah, that's so
No,
true.
that's so good.
Yeah, I think change is the biggest thing, you know, from my perspective too, as someone who's still learning every single day.
Right.
Like I'm 19 years old. There's so much more that I know I need to
Yeah,
learn, you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
And I think just as, you know, a young adult, changes every day. You know, it's not even just seasonal change. It's every single day you're adapting, you're learning new things all the time. Yeah. And I love that.
We even talk about too, like looking back a year ago, like how different life is from now. Like even just a year. Yeah. I'm like, things change so quickly.
It's so cool though. Like, because in like the season, it's hard. Like when you're actually like actively going through change, right? But looking back and be like, man, I'm a different person than I was a couple months ago. That is like the coolest thing to me, is like even looking back to like the beginning of this year and like the things that I've learned and what I'm gonna take like throughout my life, as I'm like, these are valuable lessons that everyone should have.
I mean, one thing that changed a lot when we were growing up is we moved all the time. Before Malia and I moved out on our own, we moved 15 times. Yeah, with our parents.
So we were constantly moving, like pretty much every year. We were moving.
New house, new school. We were homeschooled a lot of the time, which is why we didn't have to be like, oh, we're going to a new school. Like, how are we going to make friends?
But then when actual like public school came into, or like a charter school came into play, that's when it kind of sucked more, because it was like, okay, I have to leave these people. Like, I'm not going to see my friends anymore. And I feel like Kenzie and I, and you too, like you and Max, we all got used to like constantly hopping to schools.
It sounds cool if you've never been through it, but it kind of sucks. Yeah, it's like, I remember going to different schools, especially like when you get older, or like as you get older, everyone's got their groups established. Like you're the new kid. Like my 8th grade year, I went to a new school because it was really hard because we had moved from like, I loved the people I was around. Like I genuinely loved them, and like that, all of those relationships, just like as soon as we moved like an hour away, I'd say. I don't talk to any of them, like not because like we hate each other, just because like life moves on.
Yeah, which is and like they make new friends, you make new friends,
and that's something that I've accepted. It's like it moved on, but at the time it was devastating. And like then I went to this new school. I was so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna make so many friends, because I'm very outgoing and I love talking to people, but that was not the case. And it was definitely eye opening, just like seeing how I don't even know. It was very hard, but you know, you get through it, and like. Just know that there's like something else you're gonna learn from every situation you're in. You're gonna learn from it, and there's gonna be good out of it somehow, even if it's not in that moment.
Even if it's like when you're in your new season, you look back and you're like, okay, thank you, Lord, that I'm in this new season, and that there is change that happens. Like you're not always stuck in one place,
in the same spot. You know? Sometimes that can be scary too.
Yes, I remember like how I kind of look at it is I'm in a spot where I feel like nothing's happening, or maybe like I'm just like sad, or like nothing's happening and I'm not growing. I'm like, I look back at those seasons and I'm like, dang, I just like thank God that like you said, I'm in a new spot and I can grow from that, because that's so important.
Yeah, being stagnant sometimes can be depressing. Like if you're not getting any better, you're just staying at the same place in your life,
routine every day. That's after a while that gets kind of hard.
Okay, let's move on to the next question. Ooh, okay. Were you sad when Malia and Makenzie moved out? Okay. I know we touched on this a little bit.
Yeah, I think, yes, obviously, yeah. I was very like, it's like, dang, I'm never going to see you guys again. Obviously, I see you all the time. But like, just like the dynamic was different. And it's weird because like when you first move, it still doesn't feel like you guys are moved out. I don't know why.
It's been a year.
It's been a year. And I like don't see you guys as much. But like, for some reason, I'm like, oh yeah, like they'll be home. Like one day
they're coming home tonight. They're coming Don't back. Even worry.
But like it still hasn't like hit me, and I think I used to feel things very deeply, and I kind of like got out of that a little bit, which I'm thankful for. But also like I don't know. I feel like I've come to terms with it and accepted that you guys just like don't live with me anymore. But I still see you all the time, and it's honestly even more fun. Yeah. Like we were talking about before, like the dynamic is totally different, and like we're not as annoyed with each other. So like when we see each other, it's just so much more fun.
Yeah. I think what scares me is like if we move to LA.
I know.
Don't move to LA.
Because that's very probable, like that could happen in the future.
Right.
And that does like frighten me a little bit. But also like our friend, she's moving to New York.
Right.
And I feel like that kind of inspired me to like get out of our comfort zone. And like we've been talking about moving to California for so long.
Plus, because I think it's a big step in our career. Like, I think it could really benefit us.
Right.
And sometimes we have to, like, look at it in that aspect, too. Because, I mean, LA isn't even that far from Arizona, too. So it's like we'll always be able to come back and, like, see you guys and stuff. Right, obviously not as often, which would be sad.
But, like, kind of like what I said before, accepting the change. Like, if y'all are going to move to LA, like, I hope that that's the best decision. And I know you'll think about it for a while. But if that's the decision that you guys make for your career, I mean, it is what it is. And one
We'll
day
get through it.
Yeah, one day you're going to get married and maybe move to another state and I won't see you for months. Like,
That's true.
that's just life. Like, things move on and it'll be sad, but like, I'll see you again.
But hey,
Yeah.
we got it.
Yeah.
We'll keep kicking. Okay, this is the last question before we get into the assumptions. Do you think that you will want to pursue being a content creator after high school?
Very interesting question. I've gotten that actually before on my account too. Short answer, I want to take it into my, kind of like bring it along with me and take it seriously, but not too seriously, because I definitely don't want to pursue it full time. I want to go to college and become a therapist, so probably major in psychology and kind of see where that road takes me. You know, things change. We'll see what I want to do. But I would want to take that throughout my life because I feel like it's definitely a blessing that I can create content that like people see all around the world, which still blows my mind. Like, that's insane. But I don't know if I would want to pursue it full time just because I don't know if that's what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, and I think you have so much to like give to the world. Like, I don't know, your brain, I just love it. Like, you're just like, I don't know, you have so much like heart and passion for the things that you do, and I know that with whatever you do, you'll do it with the all and 100% of what you can give. So I'm excited to see like what you do in the future.
Plus, I get that too, is like not taking things too seriously, especially if you don't see it as a career. Like, it could be like a little side hustle or even just doing it for fun, because you can show like every aspect of your life and also not show certain aspects of your life.
I think I'll probably carry it out. I really want to start with like YouTube because I feel like I could definitely like thrive in that aspect because I do like YouTube and like editing and stuff is fun.
People were asking about your YouTube. They're like, when's the next video? We're waiting.
I know. I need
my
to
seat.
get on that, bro. My storage is full on my phone.
Oh,
I need
no.
a camera. So
no.
if y'all want to support the camera fund, I'll drop my Venmo below. I'm just kidding.
Now you're plugging your Venmo.
Ah, that's crazy.
We won't be putting that in the description.
I'm editing that out. No,
All right, guys, let's get into the assumptions. This is like a little game. So the first assumption is y'all are lying and you guys are actually triplets.
That's true.
For real. For real.
No.
It is crazy though how much we look alike.
Especially when we have the same hair. Like when we all have braids or like we all have
my
our curls
gosh.
out, we all look so similar.
I know. I actually, the other day, this is kind of funny. I went out and I feel like as I grow, I look more like Malia, especially.
Yeah.
Like, Malia and I have very similar facial features. And I went out and these girls, I was walking to the gym and these girls come by on their scooters and they kind of look at me and I was like, oh. and then they're like, they turn around and they're like, oh my gosh, are you famous? And then I turn around before I could say anything. They're like, do you have a twin? And I was like, no, I'm actually the younger one. They were like, what? And I was like, that's insane to me that people think I'm you guys.
I
I'm
know.
like, oh my, and like coming at it from my perspective, I think you guys are like the prettiest people ever. So I'm like, I can't believe that people think I look like them. Like, that's so cool.
No, Makayla's literally my mini me. Like sometimes you'll snap me and it'll be like a certain angle of your face and I'm like, why am I snapping myself?
Why am I snapping myself? It's crazy.
It's literally younger me. I'm like, what? You're like, no, but especially like now I feel like because you did like kind of before, but not really. And even as a baby, you didn't look like me.
Oh, not at all.
But now you kind of like.
We'll see in a couple of years too.
I know.
I will definitely.
Because I know like once you're like fully grown up, like, you know, in your 20s or something, I feel like we're all going to look like similar. It's going to be super weird.
That'll be crazy.
Okay, next assumption is I think Malia has all the riz. Kenzie is the plug. Makayla got jokes 24/7.
Yo, wait.
Me as the plug? What the heck do you mean by the plug?
Okay, let me reread it. Second assumption is I think Malia has all the riz. Kenzie is the plug. Makayla got jokes 24/7.
So they're saying I'm funny and that's it? No, I'm just kidding.
And I got the riz.
No,
I don't know what the plug means. Like, what does that even mean?
No, does that mean like you got the connections for Malia, but Malia has the riz, and then I'm just funny in the
The
back?
plug, though?
I
Like,
don't know.
The plug,
could be for anything. Like, that's so vague.
like when I think plug, I don't think connections.
That's
And
what
I'm
plug,
like,
I think of, like,
drugs.
yeah, I
I'm
think
like,
of drugs.
I'm not no plug.
But no, they mean like relationship. Oh wait.
I don't
maybe
think
not.
so.
No, I don't know what they meant by
They
plug.
didn't specify.
Just to specify, I'm not no plug, but I would say Malia has all the riz out of the three of us. I have zero riz. Makayla probably has more riz than me, and
You're in a like long lasting relationship, so like
I don't.
you're chilling.
Need
You don't
riz.
need
You don't need riz.
and I can live with that. And yeah, KK definitely has jokes. Like
She
too
got
many
jokes for days.
You know what though? It's because you're the youngest.
Mm-hmm.
It's because we all like shat on you, low key.
When I was younger, oh my.
The youngest is always the funniest too, and you get to like observe the older ones, so you
Yes.
like don't make as many mistakes. Like Mackenzie and I will make all the mistakes for you,
And
and
then
then
I'm like, I
you'll be
ain't
like,
gonna do that.
I ain't gonna do that.
Yeah.
Like all of
Wait
our
a
high school
second.
mistakes. Number 3, you guys are secretly dating each other. Oh my gosh, what is that?
People. Okay, someone made a couple's account for Malia and I. They thought that we were like in a
Okay,
relationship.
I will say though, it's because Mackenzie had the cornrows and she did look like.
A man? I'm just kidding.
Well, she rocked them, but I'm just saying like I could. Actually, no,
yeah,
I
everyone said-
I'm like trying to like
rationalize. this?
rationalize,
No.
but I'm like, no, I actually can't see it. So.
Everyone said that it looks like a stud, and I was like, okay.
Oh.
I kind of agreed with them though. Like, low-key
No,
did.
I did agree with them, but
But you know what? I kind of pulled it off. I might bring it back.
So, to clarify,
we're sisters.
we're not in a relationship and we're all straight.
I feel like people just say that to mess with us because we obviously look like sisters.
Yeah,
like
facts.
I've literally seen twins and triplets before, and they're like, oh, like you guys literally look more like twins than we do.
I've never once thought that triplets or sisters or anyone that was
remotely looks alike was dating.
no.
No,
Yeah, it never
that's
crossed
never
my
even
mind.
crossed my mind.
Facts.
Next question.
Next assumption. I feel like you guys are gonna plan to have kids at the same time.
Yes.
Oh, I hope so.
Well, Kenzie and I always talked about this, but I always feel like we're in different like.
Stages of life.
Well,
think-
I don't know.
I think I'll probably like this is how I hope my life goes, but it won't because if I'm thinking it, then it's not gonna happen. But I hope that like I can go to college, meet my mans, fall in love, and then get married within like a couple years, and then like be married for a year and then have kids.
Okay.
Or marry like maybe a
I
year
feel
and a
like
half.
you're gonna have kids before I have kids, and you're 4 years
I could
younger
see
than
that.
me.
I could actually see that.
Yeah, because I love kids. Like I want to have kids.
I love kids too, but I also like being
adventures.
young.
I agree.
and like I kind of want to travel with my boo.
Low
before
key.
we,
Me
like,
too.
Before like we settle down and have kids.
I kind of agree, but we'll see.
But I also want to be a young mom, so it's
But also,
I
like,
don't
whatever
know.
happens.
For real.
We'll see how this all plays out.
Yes.
But it would be
Anyways.
nice to like all the little cousins are like the same age. Because I always remember Kenzie and I growing
Guys.
up, and like all the cousins were like way younger than us. So it was just me and Kenzie.
We had
It
no
was just like,
friends
dang.
in our cousin
Yeah.
world.
Bro, our family reunions, I will say, will be lit.
Oh,
as
they're gonna be
frick.
so
My
lit. That's
gosh.
facts.
Like, actually, we're gonna have so much fun.
Karaoke.
Guys, what if
every
we're all
time.
pregnant at the same time? We could be.
That'd be so cute.
oh, we could take maternity pictures. Is that what they call
That's
it?
disgusting.
I feel
Imagine
like-
all three of us. I don't like
we're all
that
just
idea.
like one after another, and it's like Mackenzie's like holding my belly and like.
Okay. Next.
That is actually so weird.
Oh my
okay, I don't want
gosh.
to talk about that.
Never
anymore.
mind.
assumption. That's really weird.
Yeah, sorry.
Next assumption. I assume that y'all compare your lives to each other.
Oh.
Can I start this one off?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay. Sometimes. And it's not like I'm comparing myself to you now. It's like I'm comparing my younger self to you. Like, there's certain situations where I'm like, oh, like, I wish I did that. A big thing is honestly like your relationship with mom and dad.
I was
I
actually
feel
gonna say
like
that
I
too.
knew. I knew that was gonna.
That is something that, and we have a great relationship with mom and dad, but when we were younger, it just was not like that. And obviously circumstances were so different back then, but you know, I feel like looking back, it's like, oh, like I wish, you know, mom and dad and Malia and I, we had like not a friendship type relationship, but we were close and we were able to have like serious conversations with them about how we were feeling or anything like that, because that's so important. And we
What?
have that now.
Yeah.
But I think during that time, mom and dad were also trying to figure that out too. Like,
Yeah.
because like I'm very lucky. Mom and dad are like my best friends too, which I'm extremely grateful and like that I can have that relationship with them, and that I can tell them serious things and like they can also be there for me at the same time. Whereas like you guys had some of that, but definitely not to the
Right.
extent that I have it.
Right.
Also like circumstances too, because I feel like not that they weren't involved, but not as much as they are with you. Like especially with like little things like sports. And obviously it was because like that was a super hard time for us and they really couldn't be there.
Right.
You know? But
But it also makes me happy. It's not like
no,
I'm jealous of it.
yeah.
And I know that.
It's more so like I'm so happy that you get to experience that in mom and dad, because it's just so wholesome. Like I
I
see,
know.
like especially like you and dad's relationship. I'm like,
Bro, I
oh,
love
I know, it's
young
so
Theo.
cute.
Like,
He's my
yeah.
king. I
Young
love that.
Theo.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I that just makes me happy though. It's
Yeah,
not like I'm
I
like,
know.
oh my gosh, like if I could go back in time.
well, it's crazy
Yeah.
too, like how much things change, what we did go through, and like getting to get out of high school, things like that, like that brought our relationship closer, like in the long run. Obviously at the time it was terrible and like we were being brats and we were, constantly disobeying our parents and things like that.
That's
which
also because they were so
obviously-
strict.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
that
like
is
obviously like I'm not gonna like my kids if they're gonna be brats and like constantly
Facts.
disobeying me and stuff like that.
Very
So like
true.
that's why it made our relationship hard. But now it's really good.
Right.
Next assumption is you guys have always had a good relationship throughout your childhood.
Malia and I for sure. I think we've always had a good relationship because we're so close in age.
Yeah, because we basically grew up kind of as twins. Like I only had 1 year by myself, but I think it was different with Makayla. She was always 5 years younger than us. So when we were like in middle school, we'd always be like, "You're so annoying, Makayla." And
Which
like,
I was. Don't be fooled, y'all.
Oh,
I was
she
annoying.
was. When she was first a toddler, like when she was first born, I would try to pick her up and she would claw me.
I don't like being touched. To this day, I still don't like being touched.
but Mackenzie was being annoying though. She was like, "Come here."
Well, it's because I loved you.
Oh.
Definitely not when I was younger. When quarantine happened, like COVID, if y'all remember that all-nighter video, I feel like that's what started. That's what started everything.
Someone
That one
commented
video.
on our YouTube, like a recent video, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, didn't you guys pull an all-nighter a couple years ago?" And I was like,
That
"That's
video.
what you remember?" I was like, "Oh no."
That video makes me cry, but it's so funny because it's so cringy. But
It is.
it's okay.
So cringy.
I kind of want to rewatch it because I haven't seen it in a long time.
It's
Let's
embarrassing.
go home and
like
watch it.
it's bad.
Yeah,
Oh gosh.
pretty bad.
Next assumption is your parents are rich / you guys grew up spoiled.
Oh.
We got a lot of these. I was really
Yeah.
surprised.
Yeah,
I
there's
was like,
there's quite a few. I got a lot of those too.
it's just crazy because that is so
Not,
not true.
Yeah.
But I feel like I can see how people think that because of how Malia and I, like we do
Like
have
our
our
lifestyle
own
now.
apartment now, and I'm so blessed that that's even an opportunity for us to have.
Yeah.
Because we have never been handed anything.
Well, that wouldn't even be
Yeah.
achievable like without our platform and without you guys watching. But we definitely didn't grow up like that. Like
Yeah.
I feel like we always had to work hard for our money and things that we wanted to get, like clothes, extra things.
Right. That's
like we
one
were never
thing-
handed anything.
Right. That's one thing about our parents is that they, if it wasn't an absolute necessity like food, we had to work for it.
Yep.
Like no matter what. Like if it's like, oh mom, can I get this toy? No.
No.
Just kidding. But like in a loving sense, like we were never handed anything.
I remember like when Malia and I, so we went to schools with uniforms for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And then for 9th grade, we went to a public school. And I remember we worked that entire summer to buy clothes for school because mom and dad couldn't get us clothes for school.
Couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously, like being told that as a kid, you're like, oh, okay, like I got this. And you're like,
Well, I feel
What
like we
can
were
we
always
do?
hustling too. Like we either
Yeah.
had like a little lemonade stand, we were
Yeah.
making bracelets, babysitting, stuff like that
Babysitting,
before
yeah.
we could like actually be old enough to get a job. But then when we were always working too.
Yeah, and I feel like, sorry to cut you
No,
off,
go
but I
ahead.
feel like mom and dad, I feel like you're probably gonna say this too. Mom and dad like always had a sense as like everything was okay. So like as kids, we were never like worried about anything. Like there was always food on the table.
Yeah.
which
roof
very
over our head. Yeah.
very blessed for. But to make it clear, we were definitely not
Spoiled.
spoiled
I think our parents really instilled like hardworking values in us.
for sure.
Like when we were young, Malia and I, so we got taken out of school our freshman year. Once we started doing online school, we started working like as soon as we
Right.
did online school. Because if
Yeah.
we wanted to go out to eat, if we wanted Chipotle,
It was on you.
it was on us.
Right.
And so I remember phone. If we wanted a phone, we had to pay for it ourselves.
Yup.
I had to save up $700 for my first phone.
Still
And
same
that
way,
took-
y'all.
Yeah.
If you're wondering.
That took a long time working. We worked at
Those
a
phones
daycare.
like cheap.
We worked at a daycare, and I remember I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm working until I can get a phone and then have some money saved up for my phone bill every month. Like
Yeah, the phone bill. And then also like car insurance
Insurance.
too.
car insurance.
I know it was nice though because I just shared the car with like my mom and my dad. 'Cause we
Yeah.
had 2 cars, which was nice. But I always had to pay the car insurance and everything too.
Right. It teaches you also to save, spend wisely. Right now, like my parents are paying for my phone bill, but like as soon as I turn 16, like that's going right to me. And my car insurance,
Yeah.
all of that. And like honestly, people are like, "Dang, that sucks." I'm like, honestly, it's gonna teach me how to like actually save my money and spend it wisely.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I can look at it that way. Actually, very kind of excited to like
manage yourself.
Manage it, yeah.
And I think it teaches you good lessons for when you do have your own place. Like,
Right.
okay, when Malia and I moved out, though, there were so many bills that I just did not expect.
Or even think about. I was like, we have to pay for this.
Yeah, it's like you just don't even think about like all the little things that add up.
Right.
Like,
That's true.
your trash bags for your trash can. Like, you just don't think about like cleaning supplies. Like, because when you want to move out, everyone's like, oh, well, you have to pay for like your electric bill.
You're like, no
okay,
dip.
Obviously.
electric bill, I got you. But then it's like, wait,
My
the
toothpaste.
utensils, floss, like you
Yeah.
just,
And then like random things just start like disappearing and like, you know, you need to like replace it. So they're
Yeah.
like, oh, I have to make a list to go to the store. Like,
so it's just
Adulting.
different. I feel like that should be taught in school though, honestly.
Yeah.
Like how to finances.
mm-hmm.
But
I totally agree. Because I remember in like, this is kind of random, but in 5th grade, we went to Biztown. You guys did that too.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, I was the mayor. I was the mayor of Biztown.
Shawty was the
wait, you should
mayor.
explain what Biztown is.
So Biztown is basically this place for kids, and like it's ran through schools, and you have like a lesson beforehand. It teaches you about like money, checks, like saving, spending, and it's like you get a job assigned to you. So there's like it's like this place, like it's an actual place that you go to, like a field trip, and everyone's assigned a job. So there's like a Canes, there's an iHeartRadio, you get to play music.
There's the bank.
There's a bank. There's
Basically like a
everything.
mini town, right?
Yeah, there's like a news, and like they actually show it. It's really cool, and like I wish every kid could do that. But and your teacher like assigns each person a job, and I was assigned the mayor, so it's actually really cool.
Hey.
And you get to like run the town, and like it was really fun. But that was really cool.
Yeah, that's like a good experience that you can take into your adulthood and be like, oh, I remember when I had to write a check.
Yeah.
I remember there's literally a thing going around on TikTok right now that people don't know how to address an envelope,
Oh,
like a Gen Z. And I'm like, well, yeah, like you don't really have to send out
dang.
That's
envelopes
true.
anymore. You can just use
email.
email.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
still like a good lesson to
know.
learn.
Yeah.
Like basic skills of life.
Yeah.
Right. Last assumption we have, you guys have very different taste in guys. This is like super random.
Oh,
But
interesting.
I think so.
yeah, that's pretty.
Malia,
That's
I
pretty
want
true.
you to start us off. What do you think?
I think that's pretty true. I feel like Kenzie and I have always been like have very opposite taste in guys. Me and KK, I feel like I don't. Well, okay, I feel like it's like maybe like celebrity wise, maybe the same, but like not like
In IRL. No,
in
I'm just kidding. In real life.
in real
Yeah.
life. I don't think so.
I feel like Kenzie, what do you think?
I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like I haven't
never-
been like
I never had a type.
vocalized my type. I don't have a type.
Yeah.
It's like whoever's cute and has a good personality,
Right.
you know, loves Jesus and all that. Like,
Malia's always had a type.
whoa.
But I've never okay, but I would never like not date. You know when some people like wouldn't
Yes.
date like
I only
certain
like
people?
blondes, blue
Yeah,
eyes.
like
It's
I've always been
girl.
open to like okay,
Girl.
I would date whoever like you know
Right.
like whatever happens happens whoever I'm attracted to like
Right,
whoever-
it's like-
you know
I think that personally, this is gonna be very offensive to some people. I think types are stupid because,
Facts.
like, if you're on, like, you can be attracted to whoever, but like saying that, like, I will not date someone with brown hair. It's like, what if your blonde girlfriend dyes her hair brown? What are you gonna do then? Like,
That's crazy.
Facts.
That's crazy.
like, I don't know. I think that's dumb, and I think looking for personality, like, this is obvious, but looking for personality attracts for sure. Also, obviously looks, but yeah, I think types are dumb.
well, I think vocalizing your type. Some people are just drawn to a certain type of person,
Yeah.
and that's completely fine.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's a little
Saying
like
that is crazy.
being outspoken about that is a little.
I
weird.
only date these certain types of people like
Because I know people like that. I'm like, dang, like, what if your brunette baddie comes by and you're like, I only date blondes, sorry. It's like, you just missed out on a great opportunity.
Well, and that's fine for you.
I feel like that's
but-
kind of rude to say that to somebody though. Like, if you were to reject somebody and that was the reason why you rejected them, like you could have just been like, "Oh no, I'm not interested." You could instead of saying like, "Oh, you're a blonde, I don't like you," like you
Facts.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or
I
whatever
think-
it may
Yeah.
be.
For sure.
Especially, honestly, for me, I feel like it's just like race. When people
Yeah.
are like, oh, well, I won't date somebody who's blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Yeah,
like, dang.
especially like in
School?
Oh, yeah, in
Like-
school.
school. Yeah,
Well, because I felt like no one would date us.
I
Just
still
'cause we
feel
were,
like that.
like white. Like,
yeah.
well, and like a serious relationship. Like, people will like you, but no one actually wants to commit to you.
That's how, yeah, that's kind of how I
Or
feel.
bring you home to mama. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
Yeah.
Especially in the town that we grew up in.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a whole nother,
that's
a
a
whole nother
whole
podcast
nother
episode.
But yeah, I think that I feel like for all of us, personality is what keeps us, and like obviously looks attract, but like it's deeper than that.
It can
Right.
only go so far.
Right.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna
If
grow up
you're-
and they might be ugly, but like at least their personalities.
Well, I mean, we're all gonna get old, and
Yeah, facts.
wrinkly.
Anyways, okay. So
Anyways.
is that it for the assumptions?
That was
Yes,
the last
ma'am.
one.
Okay, cool. So the very last thing that we're going to talk about is actually high school questions. We're going to go into some advice from people who maybe they're in middle school, maybe they're in elementary school, maybe they're already in high school, but they have some questions about, your first year of high school, and then also Malia and I's advice from graduating high school a few years ago.
I'm
So,
very excited about this, guys.
yeah. Let's get right into it. Ooh, okay. Will I find my perfect group of friends freshman year?
That's a very great question. So for everyone, it's different, but I will say probably not. Like from even the seniors that I know now, they were friends with people freshman year. They don't even talk to them their senior year, which I'm like, that's sad, but people change. People move on. People find different people. And also being attached to people cannot be good because maybe they're not attached to you in the same way you are to them.
Yeah.
And they're going to move on and you're going to be like, what happened? Like my friends are gone. It's like that's hard, but I would say probably not. Especially because freshman year, everyone's so young. Even be for real. So junior year, until everyone's still so young. Everyone's trying to figure themselves out. High school's hard. And maybe you will, but likely not.
Yeah. No, I agree for sure. Because I don't remember who it was, but someone told me that. They're like, oh, you're probably not going to have the same friends as you do, from freshman to senior
yes,
year.
I am.
And I'm like, what? No, I definitely will. Because we had our best friend, but other people that I met, I was like, okay, yeah. Because I remember we had our little friend group for a month, and then everyone split up and went separate ways. It wasn't even a month.
And sorry.
Oh no, I was just
going
gonna say it wasn't even the first semester.
It was just
literally
a month.
things change so quickly, especially when you're young too in high school.
Yeah, I was gonna say people were like, yeah, 4 years of high school goes by so fast, and you think about that, you're like, if it goes by that fast, then wouldn't I still have the same friends? But it's no, because people, I said, change very quickly within days, literally hours.
Yeah. Well, and I think too at that age, you don't know yourself, and your friends might not know themselves either.
Right.
So everyone's growing, everyone's getting older. By the time if you start at your freshman year at 14, you're 18 by the time you leave. That's a very big difference. 14 to 18, that's a huge. You learn so much in those 4 years. Those are your developmental
Right.
Those are your years that you learn a lot about
Yeah.
life. And of course you keep learning beyond that. But to say that you're the same person you are as a freshman versus a senior, I don't even know the person that I was when I was in high school. As a freshman in high school, I couldn't
Completely
look at
different.
myself in the face and be like, oh yeah, that's me. I'm the same person.
Dang.
I was completely different.
Right.
I didn't respect authority. I didn't respect my parents. I barely respected myself too.
Right.
And it's you learn so much as you get older about yourself. And I feel that's where friendships stem from is you're not a good person, or you don't have your own values, your own morals set in stone for yourself, then you
you're
can't
just
be
gonna-
a good friend to other people.
And you'll be friends with anybody too.
true.
And the wrong people.
Yes.
Compromise your morals to fit in, be popular, or
I hope
have the
that's another
friend group-
question.
Have the friend group
Yeah.
that you want to have. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So.
And also, something that I keep in mind is your mind isn't fully, every human, your mind isn't fully developed till you're around 25.
Yeah.
Which is insane. When you're young, even for me, sometimes I think I'm yeah, I'm grown. No, no, I'm not. I'm so young, and there's also beauty in that because these are the times that I get to learn and grow.
Yeah.
And also something that I stand by is everyone's when you make mistakes in high school, you're going to it's inevitable. But saying oh, it's high school, it's fine, which is true. But also if you actually make these mistakes, growing from them.
Yes.
Because I know so many people that are it's high school, it's fine, go do the same thing again. It's you're gonna take that throughout your life and be the same
Never
person
change.
you are.
Yeah.
You want to change, you want to grow. And I'm especially with guys, I would say just growing from that aspect. And obviously, yes, there's grace because you're young. But if you just stay the same way, you're gonna be oh, now you're in college. Oh, it's college, it's fine. Then you're
Yeah.
adult. Like, what do you do then?
Oh, I'm only in my 20s. It's fine.
It's like,
and
then you're 30.
Then you make excuses, I feel like, for your whole life.
Right.
Well, yeah, because there could be an excuse for everything. Like there,
for
you
sure.
can always find one. Like we always said the same thing in high school, and that's what got us into trouble. Which was
Right.
If the
whatever
opportunity
yeah, it was, if the opportunity arises, and then we'd all
We'll
be like,
take it.
whatever happens, happens, and then
Yeah.
we'd do it.
Right.
and then
And that's
you'd
not a good
screw up.
motto.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And
Yeah.
I think, too, it's also learning that give yourself some grace.
Yes.
If you're in high school, if you're in middle school, if you're in college, like, you're going to make mistakes. But like Makayla said, just try to grow from them and learn something because then you won't make the same mistake again.
Very true.
So, yeah. Okay. The next high school question is, how much should I talk to seniors? If you're a freshman...
Oh my gosh.
Hell to the no.
This is me. Okay. I remember as a freshman, I think I talked to like a senior, but
Girl.
here's the thing. Just don't do it. They're weird. As much as you want to be like, oh, well, he really likes me.
No, he
and
doesn't.
They're lying straight to your face.
It's because I heard
They're
this.
weird.
Yes, and if a senior wants you, it means that no one in their senior class
Yep.
wants them.
Yeah.
So they're going lower, which is horrible.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
And they've probably been through the juniors
And
and
the
the sophomores,
sophomores.
and now that you're
I-
the new freshman meet, like
I think
they're
that's
going
the
for you.
weirdest thing because even at my school, there were people like that would like not like even just like talk to the freshmen. I'm like, y'all need to stay in your lane. Like as much as I think y'all are cool, like you're not.
You're almost a legal adult, and I'm a child. It's weird.
Yeah, it is
Point
very-
blank, period. It's weird, and they're not good people.
all I'm
age-
saying is don't do it.
Yeah.
Yes, the age range is literally a year above you. Like if I feel like even if you're like a freshman, don't even talk to a junior. Like that's pretty.
You're
old.
like stick with the freshman,
Stick
the
with
sophomore.
Yeah.
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 That's
That's
it
it.
for that one. Okay, I'm glad we're all on the same page. Okay, how can I distance myself from friends that are a bad influence?
Great question. I think the best advice that I can give is learning how to have hard conversations. That can really help you in any relationship in your life, whether that's romantic or just like a platonic friendship. Like that is so important because hard conversations are hard,
Yeah,
but
no one wants to have them.
very valuable because I believe that cutting people off is very toxic unless they're like actually abusive in like some type of way. But cutting people off is very toxic. And I think that healthily distancing yourself, so like obviously you're asking how to do that. I think you can approach this person as like, hey, you know, I feel like I'm in a very different place than you are in life right now, and that's okay. Like we're all learning and growing, not coming at it as like you're better than them, but just saying I think we need to take some time, and that's a very hard thing to do,
Right.
even with just a friendship.
Yep.
Because that's easy to say in a relationship, be like, hey, can we just take a break, or like we're gonna break up, like then you don't ever have to see them, you know. But okay,
I was gonna say, okay, so two things that I would say: cutting people off, if it's reoccurring, can be toxic. But if it's for your mental health and this person does not serve a place in your life, especially, I think I've learned this once we've gone away from school and we
I
don't
was
have to
gonna
see the
say,
same people
yeah.
every day. It's different when you go to school with the same people and you have to be cordial. Of course, you don't want to cut people off and be like, I'm blocking you.
That's-
I'm done with you.
right.
That's not healthy. But I think when you're an adult and you're able to say, okay, I get to choose who I want to be friends with
Yeah.
genuinely, and I only want people in my life that support me and I support them, and it's
Right.
an equal friendship and we love each other and we support each other, then you allow them into your life. So
Right.
once you get older and you don't have to surround yourself with the same people all the time, then I think it's like, okay, take a step back. Who do you want to allow into your life? But
Right.
versus in high school,
It's a whole different
it's a
world.
whole different world.
Plus, you're stuck with everybody too. Like
Exactly.
For
when
4
you're
years.
when you're an adult too, it's like everyone's busy. Like no one has time to hang out 24/7. Like,
Right.
but when you're in school, you're hanging out with everybody every day.
Yeah. This is kind of how I look at it, is like there's A and B list friends. Like your A list friends are the people that you want to be around. You want to invest your time in. The B list friends are people you have to see. Like it sucks, but you got to see them. It's like for me, I just choose to be kind, like actually just genuinely be kind to people and like love them, but from a distance. It's like if I know you aren't good for me, and I think that's also it too, being mindful before getting into a friendship, like kind of seeing how they act with other people. It's like, okay, if you're going to be doing these stupid things that I don't want to do, I'm not going to spend time with you.
Right.
Which is hard to do because it's like you want to be liked and you want to be a friend to everyone.
Invited places.
But
Yeah.
that I was also gonna say people pleasing is not a good quality to have, because obviously being nice to people is amazing. Like, you should be nice to people, but like doing things for other people for solely making them happy is just not a good thing, and it's an endless cycle, because there's going to be that person that does not like you, no matter where you are, and you kind of just got to accept that. Like,
no matter how nice you are.
Right.
Also, people take advantage of people pleasers.
Right.
And you always get yourself into trouble, because I used to be like that too. And people would always take advantage of me.
Right.
And like in that way, whether it was a friend or like whoever, they always would see the good in that and then be like, oh, how can I
take
like
advantage of
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and it's sad. Like, there definitely are. There's many toxic people just throughout life, but to answer that question, I would just say master how to have those hard conversations with people. And if you've been in this like friendship for a long time and you really just want to get away from it, have that conversation, and don't, especially if you're in your high school, don't just like block them without any context, because that's not going to end well. You're going to see them the next day at school.
Do you think that it's okay to just silently distance yourself? Like,
Yes.
let's say you and I are, I feel like there's not always a need to have like a deep conversation.
I agree.
If it's an acquaintance. Like,
Yeah.
if it's a friend who's a bad influence that you haven't always even been like buddy with, but they keep inviting you places, just be like, oh, like, thank you so much, but like, I can't hang out this weekend.
Right. Yeah.
Or you don't really owe anyone an explanation. At the same time, like, yes, it's good to have hard conversations, but you also don't owe people an explanation. Like,
I totally
you can
agree.
go to school, hang out with the people that you genuinely want to hang out with, and then just be acquaintances with everybody else. Be like, hey, what's up? Hope you have a good weekend. See you Monday.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah,
at that
that's
point,
it.
it really just depends on how close you are with the person. Like, if you guys were like best friends, like obviously there's
That's very different.
needs to have like communication there.
Conversation.
But if you're an acquaintance, like you can just distance yourself, and it like
Yeah.
I agree.
yeah, you don't have to hang out with them 24/7.
Right. Okay. Next, y'all. We got someone said, I am overwhelmed with school. How do you balance friends, homework, and extracurriculars?
It's a great question, because even though I don't play a sport, believe it or not, I am pretty busy at school. That's a hard thing, but I think you have to put what you know is most important first, even if you don't want to. So, like, for me, I know school is very important. I know, like, excelling and getting good grades is important, especially for, like, if you want to go to college. And it's stressful. I feel like putting that first, because hanging out with people that you also want to have fun. So it's hard. It's just a balance. Like, for me, I'm in student council. That also takes like a lot of my time. I also have a job, and that's really hard to do while I'm trying to get good grades in school. Also going to the gym, staying fit. It's a lot. Like, even mentally, it's just a lot. So I think making a schedule for yourself and be like, okay, when I get home, I'm going to review. Even if you don't, this is actually a good tip. Even if you don't have like a test the next day, let's say, reviewing what you went over in class, I know you don't want to do it, but like when that test comes up, you're going to be like, oh, I got this. Like, you're not going to be in your room the night before, like cramming it all in. So I think that's very important, just like blocking your time and scheduling it in a way that you know you're going to have time to do stuff that you like. Yeah.
Makayla's spitting facts.
I know.
I feel like you just touched everything.
I
Like,
know.
That was end of discussion.
Yes.
Perfect answer to the question. Okay, so next question. I'm going to a new school and I'm scared of having no friends. How do I put myself out there?
Oh my gosh. We've all been in
been
that.
there. Yeah.
That is very hard. Okay. I love where whoever typed this out, where their head's at. Like, they want to meet people that, oh my gosh, this is hard, because for me, going into my 8th grade year to like a new school, I was like, I'm so excited. The people there were not nice. Like, I didn't have any friends, and it was really, really hard. And I was just desperate for anyone. Anyone that showed any type of like attention
Interest.
to me. I was like, oh my gosh, let's be best friends. Like, being desperate is so easy to do, but just having that balance between like, you know who you want to be friends with, and you have that like, I don't know, that's hard.
I think it's almost like trying to figure out what you want out of a friend,
Yeah.
and that way you don't settle for people who will
Yeah.
take advantage of you. Because when you are desperate for a relationship, whether that is just friends, whether that's a boyfriend, a girlfriend, whatever, that's when you get yourself in trouble.
Right.
Is when you're on the hunt but you're also available for
Yes.
anybody and everybody to be best friends with.
Yeah.
Labeling people as your best friend can put yourself in a bad situation.
agree.
Because I remember when Malia and I, we went to high school. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're besties, we're besties, we're besties, we're besties. And then it's like, these people don't actually care about me.
Right. And then like you have that like mental in your mind, you're like, yeah, these people like me. But at the end of the day, they've got their other friends and stuff too that they probably like more than you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I know I touched on this before, but this is something that's very important that I've learned is being okay with being by yourself. That is super hard because once you kind of like master that idea of like, oh, I'm okay, I can have fun by myself, I can do things by myself, you can have a lot more fun. Because there's going to be times where like you feel like you don't have any friends, and that's really hard because as humans we crave like community and like we crave friends, and it's very important to have those people, but that's going to take a lot of time, whether that takes a year, 2 years, 3 years. Finding a middle ground with being independent and doing things by yourself, self-care, going on a bike ride, go to the store, get some snacks, watch a movie by yourself, have fun by yourself, do things that make you happy by yourself.
And I feel like once you have that down, then the right people eventually come into your life at the right time. And like when you meet people, it's very genuine and authentic and it's not forced. Because I feel like when you do force it, and I've said this before, but like when you force a relationship, it never ends up working out. At least speaking from experience, like I feel like forcing something, it never brings anything good to your life. You know?
Totally agree.
Other than like heartbreak.
Yeah.
Because then you realize that maybe this friend isn't supposed to be in my life. And then you're hurt because you feel like, oh, is it something I did?
Right.
When in reality, maybe it just wasn't an organic interaction
And
when you
that's-
first met.
Yeah.
That's something I'm still learning, like through all of these relationships and friendships that I'm making, that like it's okay to not be friends with everyone. Like obviously be kind, but being so tight knit with everyone can not be a good thing because then you just end up getting hurt in the end.
That's so true. I think the last part of that question that you said was, how do I put myself out there? I feel like a big thing is joining things. Joining different clubs after school, doing sports if you're into sports, if you're athletic, if you like that type of thing. I met so many friends when I played track. Like when I ran track, it's all the athletes from every single sport there. And it's fun. Like
Sports
it's
in
super
general
fun.
too, because it's like you're all on a
Basketball.
team, you're all working together. There's so many things that you have to do outside of school,
Right.
And you're all working together and having fun at the same time.
And it's just like a little bond. Like you
Yeah.
just have a little
Yes.
bond. It's like, yo, we're on the basketball team together. What's up? You know what I
Yes.
mean? So
Even
Join
too, I
things.
know there are people that don't like sports either, and you might not be like a sports or athlete type of person, but there's so many other clubs and things you can do even after school just to like find out what you like and even trying new things too. Maybe if you don't think you like sports and then you try it, maybe you will, you know?
Right.
So it doesn't hurt to try things and put yourself out there because you never know who you're going to meet.
I know it's intimidating because I remember like, okay, for example, volleyball. By the time you get to high school, everyone is a pro.
Oh, that is so
if
true.
they play
I would never
volleyball
play.
and they do club and they've been playing since they were 3 years old, that they could literally waddle. They've been playing volleyball. They're gonna be super, super good. But Malia and I, we were terrible at volleyball.
Yeah, we played the YMCA volleyball for
For a
1 year.
And you're like,
Like-
I'm gonna play.
Not even a year, like 3 or 4 months in the summer. Like, it
Well,
was
we
not
knew we
it.
weren't going to make the team, but we were like, well, why not try out just for fun?
See, that
And we
takes-
did.
Some boldness, because I couldn't do that. I still can't.
I feel like I was definitely more bold just because me and Kenzie were always together.
Yeah.
I think if
Right.
it was just me by myself, I probably wouldn't.
But I think that's also a situation where we made some friends because we were a little bit more bold and we were just like, okay, well, I'm going to put myself out there. The worst
Right.
that can happen is I don't make the volleyball team. And I knew I wasn't going to make the volleyball team. We couldn't even afford to play volleyball. Like, I knew we weren't going to
Yeah.
play volleyball. So it was just like, okay, it's going to be fine.
Exactly.
But-
Yes.
So that's just an example of put yourself out there. The worst that can happen is you don't make the team
yeah.
if it's a sport, you know?
Yeah.
So that is pretty much it for today's episode,
Oh
guys.
my gosh.
Why did that go by so fast?
I know.
That was so fun.
That was
Like,
so
I see
much
that
fun.
timer. I'm like, we run out of time over
We
here.
rocked that. Amen.
We killed
KK,
that.
thank you
Aw.
so much for coming on Big Sis Energy.
Guys, this was so much fun. I really enjoyed this. Like,
Me too.
I'm excited.
This was like some quality time.
Yeah,
I'm like,
why was this so therapeutic? Like, I feel like
I
talking
know.
about like certain things in the past scenarios and even just like giving advice and our 2 cents on things. I don't know why. It's like
Yes.
kind of therapeutic
It's
getting out there and
fun.
talking about it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I do want to say, these are also things that I'm learning right now like going through high school. I'm definitely not perfect at any of these things, but growing, learning, and still figuring it out is okay. So
And
I think we all are.
yeah,
Aren't
Literally,
we
like,
all?
this is our first time all living life. So,
Yeah.
like, we're all
Thanks.
figuring it out, you know?
yeah,
Just taking every day a step at a time, and we'll get through it,
facts.
folks out there. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Yes.
And thank you for listening to Big Sis Energy.
Make sure to check us out on Instagram, Big Sis Energy with 2 Ys. We'll put all of our Instagrams up in the little corner below. But yeah,
Follow
Follow my
KK
TikTok,
on TikTok and on
Instagram.
YouTube and Instagram.
every social media platform.
Go ahead, KK. Thank you guys. That is pretty much it. So, peace.
Peace out.
peace.